Okay, according to this, we are live. But I don't see my. Oops. I know what I forgot to do. There we go. That should cover that. All right. Oh, what did I do here? Give me 2 seconds. I messed myself up. There we go. I do it every time. Okay. Hey, Rocco Zippy Brim. Welcome from behind enemy lines to Rick's Life as I See It, a 1 hour talk show about guns, politics, and anything that crosses my mind. I also answer questions from the listener. So either put them in the chat on YouTube or simultaneously broadcasting from gun channels. And or you can send it to me an email at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com. Also, within 24 hours of this show ending, I normally will have it set up on the audio on Podbean, iTunes, or Stitcher for your listening pleasure as well. So there you go. That's what I was thinking. We were talking. Hey, Roos, two live moo. We were talking the other day, or was it last night? I can't remember when it was. That, but you know how YouTube's not doing us very proud. You know, they're hurting us. But and as like Clover and Ghost say, we got to diversify. You know what we're doing. Like that's why I'm doing the what you call it, the podcasts off of iTunes and stuff like that. Is if YouTube goes down, right, I might not be able to have the interaction with the chat here, but I can still. People will get used to me having a what's the word I'm looking for out there on iTunes, a podcast.
Podbean.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I'll be doing I mean, if YouTube goes down, I can still do one of these live as a podcast.
Correct.
And I do have the capability here. What I'm saying is, if it went down and I couldn't have the interactive chat, I know I ain't sure how to work it, but I can take phone calls during my chat. So I would do something like that to get the interaction going. To if YouTube went down, yeah, that's why I'm diversifying. You know, I'm only a little guy. I like the sound of my own voice. Anyway, guys, that's what I thought I just mentioned that while I was at it. Okay, as you see in my topic is Pink Moon is on gun channels there. Thanks for joining. As I said, I am at a loss. You know, I'm at a loss. I don't know what to do.
It's super frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, where I said I'm at a loss of what's going on, basically. One day, Trump's with us. The next day, he's doing something that sounds anti-gun. You know, and then some of these individual states are doing, like in my thing, Rhode Island, gun ban, semi-auto. They put a bill in. This is what's so frustrating. I think it went in Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember what day it went in. But the day the person, I can't think of the guy's name who wrote it, was, taking it to the state house to do however you introduce one. It ain't even got there yet. There's hundreds of, in their yellow T-shirts, women for gun safety or whatever, one of Bloomberg's crowd are already there cheering up. And of course, the TV picks it up and stuff. But this semi-auto ban is all semi-autos, rifles, pistols, and shotguns. Anything to do with semi-auto, done, gone, get rid of it. It's I doubt very seriously that one will pass. But it's just the thought. I mean, they're getting some balls now. They think they got us on the run. You know?
Have you noticed how a lot of them have been screaming like banshees last couple of weeks, and then they reverse it? The problem with that is their true faces show there, and then they catch themselves.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I mean, not only with this kind of, not only is this a total infringement on the Second Amendment, right? The Second Amendment, Rhode Island itself has a Second Amendment in it too, and it's actually word for word the same as the federal one for the state. So they'll be going against their own state, Second Amendment type thing. I don't know what you would call it a Second Amendment for the state, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say there. The state has exactly the same thing in its state constitution as the federal government. We shall not be infringed. Worded exactly the same. So it's going to be a fun time. I just got the email. I'm going to try to go there next. Is it 6? I think that's Tuesday, I believe. It's coming Tuesday. The first of these bills are being heard in the state capitol, and they want us all to go up there, to be ready for it. So
Yeah.
that's the only way. That's the only way in Rhode Island you're going to win. The pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment people have to show up in numbers.
Yeah.
So that no, we're not all anti-gunners here in this state.
Well, Grim 90 on the YouTube side is saying the problem is that they are throwing everything they can, hoping that something will stick. They keep taking inch by inch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And we know, obviously, they know that most of what they actually want will not pass. But the problem is when you break it down into parts, little by little, that's when it starts.
Oh yeah, something will slide through.
Yeah. So the infringements begin, and they have already begun. The only thing now is they continue to get larger and larger, and it's not only federal side, it's also state by state now.
Yeah. Well, there were. Yeah. I mean, as I said, be honest with you. I mean, yeah, the Trump thing is worrying me on the state level, but on the federal level. But to me, to be honest, the federal level is less of a concern than the state level. You know what I'm saying? Because they realized when they lost the election to Trump that until just recently, they thought, we're screwed. So if you look at all the states that are doing this, I mean, it's not only at Rhode Island. I mean, didn't Ohio put in a bill like this, and a few other states,
Minnesota, Ohio,
yeah.
They basically all want to go for a gun grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's basically what it came down to.
Yeah, and Bloomberg's millions is paying for it all. Behind everything, it's Bloomberg's millions are paying for all this. And of course, unfortunately, the shooting in Florida and, the kids crying on TV and marching to the Capitol and all this kind of crap is, I don't mean to make light of the deaths, but that ain't helping our cause any.
No. David Wright says it's all these things regarding immigration, and the left doesn't want to be pushed because immigration is what they're looking for. So we need to get rid of, obviously the sanctuary cities, and they need to start cutting the funding for these cities.
Absolutely.
And okay, they need to do those things. The problem is when you put it on the same note as the gun control that they would like to have happen, they will quickly concede nothing. So whether it's immigration or whether it's less stricter gun policies, the left never really likes to give.
No, they want us to give all the time. The left doesn't give anything. But you're right. I mean, immigration, it's all... be honest with you guys, I was talking to John before we went live. This, to me, I'm beginning to think this is some big conspiracy going on here. Think about immigration. They want immigration. Now, I was reading the news the other day. Another state wants to give illegal immigrants a license. Once you get the license, you can go vote in most states, right? Some states you can vote without one. And the Democrats need those votes to win, to beat us. And that's why they do it for. Because they hope that the illegal immigrants, the Democrats are looking after us, so we'll vote for them. And that's what they're planning on doing. And it's a big thing. And once they get back in power, boom, they hit us again on the Second Amendment.
Yeah, unfortunately, that sanctuary city thing is.
That's right.
Unfortunately, that sanctuary city thing is them wanting to pile up their votes.
Yeah.
They don't care about the people. They don't care about anything other than getting the restrictions they want.
Yeah.
Once the Democrats get back in power, you can pretty much kiss the Second Amendment goodbye. So, yeah, good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
We won't have the Second Amendment anymore unless we're able to control the Senate and the House. And the Senate, don't even get me started.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what I'm thinking is, I've said this before, the Second Amendment might still be there.
On paper, it will.
On paper. But it'll be so tied up in regulations and legislation and laws that it ain't no good.
Well, according to Grim 90, Illinois also met this past week with no announcement, no public hearing of any sort, and they put up two new bills, HB 1469 and 772. And quite a few states have done that in the last 6 months to a year. They're just proposing and throwing in bills, no word to the public, as if
they can just make up laws without informing the public.
And a lot of them are literally making up laws.
Yeah, they're making laws without telling the people that they are supposed to represent what those laws are.
And we mean nothing to those representatives. We're not the people, apparently.
Yeah, and I was watching one of those Never Enough Ammo's videos. I think he put it out yesterday or this morning. He's right. The Second Amendment is there for us to protect. It's to stop the government doing what they're doing.
So what's this state that made with these IDs they want to throw at people now? What's that state?
Do what?
What's the city that wants to give everybody ID cards?
No, hell, now
probably San Francisco.
Okay, let's say it's San Francisco, whatever city it is, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't either.
So San Francisco wants to go ahead and spend money on producing ID cards, which mean nothing except for the fact that they want to be able to get the votes in for them. So they don't really care about the people. They don't care about the process. They just want to give people the illusion that they have the right to vote.
And that they're doing something.
And right. So New York City has something for people here too. So it's kind of an incentive not to even try to go through the process correctly or legally for that matter. New York City has the same, this vote New York City ID or whatever you want to call it. They have the same thing. So New York City has already been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah. Another thing that got me, slightly just a sidestep to the same topic, was it in Oregon or Washington where the mayor called the illegal immigrants so ICE was coming?
No. What was it? She refused to cooperate, or that's right. Okay.
Yeah, she called
when ICE was coming. She let the people know.
Yeah. To me, she should be arrested.
She should be hung for treason.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But unfortunately, hanging is cruel and unusual punishment, even though there are some politicians that really deserve it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That shouldn't be allowed. I'm sorry. That shouldn't be allowed. The government, our Jeff Sessions should grow some balls and do something about this.
Well, you know nothing's going to happen because states already go against the federal government with the sanctuary cities.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Trump, now what Trump's doing about the Second Amendment, this him and Han, he should do what he said with that. Take their money away, their funding away.
Has that happened at all? In
No.
part, does anybody know?
They ain't taking no money away from anybody.
Well, I don't know. Has anybody seen anything related to that to verify if that's even happened yet?
I don't believe it has. I don't see anybody in the chat saying it has. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on slightly, it's all going to be on the same topic. I mean,
am I the only one that kind of wants to revolt?
No, I want to.
Okay, as long as I'm not the only one feeling that.
I'm pretty sure you're not.
And I asked this question a couple of weeks ago. What does it take for us, to pick up arms and say enough is enough? You know, I'm not. It's just the country's going to hell.
It's already there.
It was there when Obama got elected. Now we're witnessing the fallout of Obama.
Yeah.
And people say, no, this is Trump's in charge. Yes, but the things that led up to the administration Obama was in now are wearing off, and we're seeing the after effects.
Absolutely, I agree with you. We are.
Trump can do quite honestly do whatever the flip he wants, but within reason, of course. But it comes down to, can he make the country any better than Obama did? Probably not. Though he can't do any worse. I'll give you that.
I mean, I think be honest with you, some of the stuff he's done, people say he's done a great job. But the stuff he's done, I'm not really interested in. I voted for him basically based on the Second Amendment, to be quite honest with you.
But, I did too. But when it comes down to it, I will give him this. He does do more in a week than Obama did in like 6 months.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, when I was watching TV and watching the news about what Obama, he was always going on vacation or going to Camp David and playing golf and all that shit.
Yeah.
He wasn't actually, or he was going to those summit meetings. He wasn't actually doing anything.
No, you're right. I mean, even when Bush jumps on the airplane and goes down to Florida at the weekends, he plays a game of golf, but he's also working too.
I just want to throw this in there. Russ Carr says 1,123 kids have died by beating, starvation, and neglect this year by parents. We need to ban the parents, but yes, you don't hear too much about that in the news, which is really sad.
Yeah, I believe that is the one row call.
And
that is a nasty thing.
and breaking news: man shot himself outside White House. Secret Service says.
Yeah. I saw that this morning. And Washington D.C. It's
some of this stuff. The fact that all these so-called shootings, and I'm doing the whole air quotes here, that are happening so close to each other. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's pretty damn convenient.
Hey, I shouldn't be laughing, but I was talking with John with that before we went live, and he said, if you bring that up, he said, I do. I mean, we were going so good, then all of a sudden, Florida happened.
And then you see copycats and whatnot.
Not only that, it started before that. I mean, like things were going, really great with the, getting silencers done, and the national reciprocity. Then Vegas happens.
Is that guy still alive from Florida?
Start talking again, and things might be looking, and all of a sudden Florida happens. I'm not saying somebody is saying kill people, but it's sure strange that these big things happen. when things are looking good for us.
9 Me on the YouTube side is saying this is why people believe in conspiracy theories, and we've learned this past year a lot of the conspiracies with the White House, Obama, and Hillary, how much of it was actually true. So you want to call people conspiracy theorists, but there's truth in it.
Yeah, yeah. So, hey, Nodak and Russ, going to chat. Good to see you guys.
Awesome.
Hey.
I just have one thing to say on the whole Florida thing that really threw the whole wrench into, everything. I really hope that guy that did all that, I really hope he gets beat to an inch of his life in prison.
Oh, the prisoners don't like people who hurt kids. He's going to get his.
Yeah, because you see, the one thing, even the hardened criminals, in prison, the one thing they don't tolerate are pedophiles and people who kill children.
Yeah. Oh, he have to be put into isolation.
I really hope they rough his ass up.
But all they got to do is a guard has got to step out of the way for a few minutes. A couple of guys get in there and take care of him. So yeah, he ain't gonna last long. He ain't gonna last long when he gets to prison. I don't think. I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
So, any of you, Nodak or Rush, you got anything to say about our conspiracy theory here and what in the hell's going on? I mean, is Trump with us or is Trump against us? The states are piling up here with all these bans on semi-autos. It's unreal.
Yeah, I think they're throwing everything at the fan. Throwing everything at the wall, see what sticks. Because they know from last time if they try to make them halfway sensible or they keep them in a small package, when they get denied, that's it. So they're going to throw everything they can at it. Hopefully they're trying to get something. The only thing I can think of is hopefully the Republicans give them something that the Supreme Court will overturn, because they're going to give them something. That's the problem, is that if they don't give them anything, then it's just going to get worse and worse and worse.
Well, unfortunately, we have more rhinos in there than we have Republicans.
We can't afford to give up anything more. If we give up anything more, we are fucked royally.
The word is royally.
Yeah, a lot of those bills, though, the Supreme Court has already said some of that stuff you can't do. They've already made judgments on it. So, they know they can't do most of that shit. They already know that.
Yeah, I mean, but the Supreme Court of the United States needs to take up. Or did you read that article? There was an article I saw this morning on some contributor to Fox News was saying that the Supreme Court needs to step in and define what the Second Amendment means again.
Yeah. They always rest on the Heller decision, and they need to find that perfect case again. Yeah. And the only problem is that there isn't one out there right now, and we have to wait 2 or 3 years before that case gets up to the Supreme Court, which means we get screwed in the meantime.
Well, we don't really know that because they're not even hearing any cases at the moment.
Yeah, they refuse to hear every firearms case brought to them.
How would you know what the perfect case is if they don't want to hear them?
I mean, in the article I was reading, even with the Heller case, when they come up with that, he said we are entitled to carry or own a gun, but he didn't go. He didn't go enough. They need to find out, and they need to explain it more.
Yeah, in past cases, they've covered other things too, like weapons of war, right? Military-grade weapons. Well, part of the cases is the reason why you can't have a short-barreled shotgun is because they're not a military firearm. So if it was a military, commonly used military firearm, we could have it because we're allowed to have weapons of war. We're allowed to have those military guns.
I'm not going to lie. I spit up my drink when I heard that.
By the way, the reason why they don't have a defined military shotgun is for one reason. It's this convention that was signed in the 1890s, which stated I believe it was the Hague Convention, that stated that shotguns were banned to be used in war by the Hague Convention. But the thing is, the United States decided we wouldn't sign the Hague Convention, and that's why the Germans complained in World War I when we started using shotgun with double-aught buck against them. And the Kaiser said, the German Kaiser at the time said, if he catches anybody, with shotguns, they're going to execute them. And we responded, well, if we find anybody with gas or flamethrowers, we're going to execute them with those shotguns.
Yeah, so I was reading some stuff in the chat there. Yeah, sure. You're right there. That's right. I mean, I see Midnight's in here trying to turn it into a food chat again.
Well, what can we do about him?
Yeah.
I mean, unless we ban Midnight Range TM, and I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, Patrick on Gun Channels is saying, I want to know why is that the country is not up in arms over Trump saying, let's take your property and not give you due process. But we will give it later.
Because
that's the one I was pissed off most about was the Fourth Amendment. That bill doing that would literally take away the Fourth Amendment as well. Yes. It leaves you completely open. You're guilty before innocent. That's insanity.
But I mean, I think he opened his. He's like me. He has a bad habit of opening his mouth. I mean, he comes out with some bullshit before he thinks, before his brain's engaged.
So he's got Jonas syndrome.
And I think this is only my opinion. I think what he was trying to say, if somebody's mentally ill, and you know it and we know it, take the guns away from them. I think that's what he was trying to say. But the way he said it is the Fourth Amendment's going to thing. And the problem is what scares me, whatever he comes up with, right, it's fine to say, well, he's going to, this is what we're going to do. But when it gets, say something like that gets passed and it goes on to the normal federal employees who actually break it down and interpret what they actually wrote, it could all go to hell. That's the scary part. It really is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of them, like the confiscation and safety checks of homes and all this BS I was reading, like in that Minnesota bill, is just absolutely insanity. The police can enter your home at any time for a safety check.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure the police can fuck off.
Yeah. Oh, 9 milli Mia, someday somebody's going to have to tell me the Jonas story.
Oh, boy. That'll be a long, drawn-out process.
We'll have to have a separate chat on that, I guess.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do that one on my channel so we can make it a 43-hour video, I guess.
Yeah.
Did it actually record all 43 hours?
Yeah, but it never posted. It's on my side. I can see it, but nobody else can. But I'll take a screenshot of it. It actually went 49 hours and 50 some minutes.
Holy cow.
Wow.
But you couldn't post it.
Patriot says you have to take what Trump says like we take what Jonas says. Just saying.
Yeah, but at least Jonas is saying shall not be infringed.
Yeah, you're right there. And now
not let's take away the guns and do due process after.
Just a little sidebar to this. Has he done the executive order for the bum stocks yet?
No, not yet, as far as we know.
Now
I hope he doesn't.
As the last we knew, what was it? Just the other night, the NRA had dinner with him yet again. Because they're not happy with him. I'm not saying he's paid for and bought by the NRA, but damn, the NRA helped him get in office, especially in those states that were wavering.
The NRA didn't give him enough money to blow his nose on. I mean, Trump spent the vast majority of his own money. NRA, it was maybe $1 million?
Yeah. Yeah, people. I mean, they're coming out. I mean, some of these anti-gunners up here in Rhode Island coming out with some. Like my friend, he went on the other day. He said, "Yeah, the NRA gave him $38 million." I said, "The NRA ain't got that much." You know, there ain't no way they gave him $38 million.
No, they didn't even spend that. I think they. What was it? They only spent like 5 or 7 total last year.
Yeah.
Or in that year, Bloomberg spent $25 million himself.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's still spending it. You know. I mean, it's it's I don't know. Back on that, what's happened to the sheriff in Florida? That guy should be hung and quartered.
Oh! Speaking of the sheriff, I've got a picture. I've got a picture. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Got so many windows open, it's not funny.
Yeah, but I've been calling, tweeting.
Here we go.
Everybody, politicians, state and federal.
Here we go.
Oh. Hang on, you need to. It needs to stay up there.
You see it?
The Brownlee line. It takes courage to stand down. We need you around later to confiscate the citizens' guns.
Look at the witch closely.
It's Hillary. That's great.
Oh, yeah. That is good. Yeah. Yeah, because he told him to stand down, too, didn't he? The ones, it's... And he's not taking any responsibility whatsoever. He's done an amazing job running that department. That's what
he also used it as an excuse. They were told to stand down, but then the excuse was, well, they're allowed not to stand down during times of live or active shooters. So they don't actually have to follow my rules, even though I said it.
Yeah, but the other police department just ran right past them and ran in there, like you're meant to.
Well, that only shows you if a sheriff's department is run by a Democrat, you can pretty much kiss any hope of getting rescued in a hostage situation or even in a mass shooting situation. You can kiss your ass goodbye because they're not going to rescue you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what a shame is that? Is it Broward County? Is that how you pronounce it? Whatever. I mean, that sheriff department is one of the biggest in the country. Not only in the state of Florida, in the country, the size of it.
I want to know what kickback they got from that deal they did with the school district so that they don't charge kids with crimes.
Yeah, to keep the numbers down to keep the
that rolled right off his back like water on a duck. I don't know how that didn't stick. I don't know why people aren't thinking about that. Why the hell did the sheriff's department stand down from doing their jobs for years to make the numbers better so that the school district gets more money?
Yeah, there's some good stuff going on in the chat there on YouTube. If anybody's interested. Yeah, but I agree with you there. It's I don't know. It's I just want to scream. It feels like
Well, here's another thing. That sheriff himself, he's got a Lamborghini, so of course he isn't thinking about protecting anybody.
Only his own ass.
When you spend that much money on a car, obviously you're not going to care about anybody else but yourself.
And that's a government car for his personal use.
Yeah.
Yeah, this kid should have been charged already. He's had multiple incidents where he's taken weapons to school. That should have been, he should have been charged for that. Yeah. He's had multiple accounts of assault. He's had domestic violence charges against his parents, but they never stuck because they're not going to charge him with anything. It's insanity.
It is. It is absolutely insanity. All to keep the numbers down, to keep the federal money coming in.
Sadly, they want to point fingers when something happens, when something bad happens.
Now,
but they don't want to take responsibility when they don't act on charging people who need to be charged. They want to make excuses and say, "Oh, well, he wasn't loved. He wasn't hugged enough as a child." You make excuses for people who have serious issues, and you get more monsters like these because they already know there's no repercussions for their actions.
Yeah, and it's also a giant societal issue we have right now of people turning their backs. The school district's answer to that was he's bringing down our numbers, get him the hell out of here. Well, fine, but don't you think you might want to do something about it? You see it every place. Teachers turn their backs. Okay, this kid's dangerous. Get him the hell out of my class. Well, it's not just get him the hell out of my class. It's find him help or lock him away. We need nut houses again. I'm sorry, but
I agree with you.
We need to take dangerous people out of society. If someone's too dangerous to themselves or others to be in society, they should not be in society.
And that includes dirty politicians and dirty police officers who take money to not arrest people when those people should be arrested.
Yeah. Now, the governor, Raphael says, like the governor in Florida spending $500 million on school safety. He should be spending $500 million on getting the asylums reopened and run properly. Some of them were a disgrace, but if they were run properly, I mean, here people tell me just down the road in Connecticut, which because I said I can spit and I'm in Connecticut, is there was a mental institute called Norwich Hospital. Humongous place. It's still sitting there empty after when did they close down asylums? 25, 30 years ago? It's still sitting there empty. It's like a ghost town over there now, But when they closed it down, they kept the ones who were really, really, bad. But the rest of them, they just opened the door and said, "See ya." And they've been out in the streets ever since. And today, the same thing's happening. Nobody's taking care of them. And that is the problem today. It's the mentally ill.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm afraid of, if they come up, they mentally ill needs to be taken care of. But I'm afraid they're going to be so broad on that, I'll be honest with you. I take a medication because the doctor said I was my brain was clinically unbalanced, but not in a crazy way, So they give me medication to make everything go in a straight line. I'm not on it anymore, but I was on it for a few years. But it straightened it. I mean, the medication helped and it straightened it all out, and I'm fine. But when something like that happens, there was nothing wrong with me, that I couldn't own a gun. But I'm afraid they're going to ban everybody under it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think psychiatric medication, taking it should be an issue. I think it's if the patient is somebody that if they don't take it goes schizo, schizophrenics probably shouldn't own guns, but
or live anywhere near them.
Yeah, it's schizophrenics. If they are in danger of, or if they're going to hurt somebody else or themselves, if they do not take their medication, they need to be drug tested weekly. And if that medication does not show up, they need to put markers in the medication. If it doesn't show up, then, maybe they need to go into the asylum for a little while until they get themselves straightened out a little bit. Because I have a schizophrenic in my neighborhood who is absolutely insane. He never takes his medication or anything else, and you got to watch him. If you see him out and he's talking to himself and doing weird stuff, you got to go over to get his parents and go, "Hey, you need to get him up back on his medication because he's getting to see the doctor if it's too low or whatever." Because nobody cares. He'll be out running the streets.
Well, I totally understand with that. I agree with you on that. Where I was going with this, take somebody. Say somebody going through a divorce. And then they feel, it's getting them down, and they drop into a depression. The doctor prescribes them Prozac while they're going through a divorce, and once it's over, they come off it. to me, I see nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean they're unstable. You know, well, what I'm afraid of, if they come up with some law, even if a doctor prescribes you Prozac because you're feeling a little depressed because life is, you know, got you down a little bit, you're going to be banned from owning guns. It's the mentally ill should not have a gun. But I guess what it is, where is the line drawn, mentally ill or just need a little help? I don't know if I'm explaining.
I think the line should be drawn if they have a past of hurting other people. I don't really care if you're extremely depressed and you're suicidal. Yeah, you need help, but I don't think depression should be part of that list. I think it should be people who are dangerous to other people or animals. I mean, those signs, you know, you start blowing up chickens, I'm pretty sure you're nuts.
Yeah, you're right. Which one was it? 9 milli Maya? Is that how you pronounce it? It should be a diagnosed based, not medication based.
9 millimia.
Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. Well, you can get with her, and she wants to know the Jonah story. She was one that asked. She's right. It should be diagnosed, the mentally ill, not on what medication you're taking.
One of the issues they have is like with this kid, you know, he had mental issues, but nobody ever really gave a shit to diagnose him. And, you know, when you get arrested and they try to put you in a 72-hour hold and stuff like that, if they don't have a bed, they just let you go.
Yeah.
That's one of the big problems, because I guess a few times he was brought in for that and there was no bed, so they just let him go.
Yeah.
So he was never properly diagnosed.
Yeah, is 72 hours long enough? I mean, how long can you hold somebody before, you know, you start affecting their rights? You know.
Yeah. Well, what it's supposed to be is a 72-hour hold, then diagnosis during that 72 hours, and if they're seen to be insane, then they need to be dealt with.
Yeah. Let's see. RL says right night strike, but they don't do long-term care inpatient. They keep them on a hold, medicate, and throw them out. Oh, chat's moving too fast. My God,
they throw them back into the public. 85% of homeless are suffering from severe mental illness.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right.
Because who would want to live on the streets when they could get a job and you actually live in, you know, a home?
A job? Are you crazy?
I know, John, right?
Well, that's another thing is our homeless. Everybody always complains about the homeless problem. Well, the homeless problem isn't nearly as bad as people think it is. Most of the homeless do have mental issues, and that's the reason why they can't hold a house, they can't hold a job, they can't pay bills. They need help. You know, you can put them in a halfway house all you want, but when they walk away from it, you know, what do you do?
So, I mean, has America's mental health got worse, or has it always been here?
It's actually always been here. We just...
but the mental institutions kept sort of like semi under control.
We had more of them in the 90s, or in the late 80s and early 90s. Before about, let's say, 94 or 5, when Clinton decided to go and redo the whole health system in this country, and a couple of the major psychiatric companies that had hospitals shut down because they could no longer run.
Yeah, well, Reagan's the one that shut down all the government-run mental institutions. I mean, literally closed them, and people walked out.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and they're I hate to say it, but you know they sent them out, left them out, threw them out there, you know, and they do their own thing. And it sounds another conspiracy theory here, but you know they're out there in the street. They're not mentally stable. They get into relationships. They have kids who are mentally born mentally incapable, and it goes on and on and on. And now
the problem is when you throw people out into the street like that, you're just giving them a pat on the back resolution, and that doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. So I mean, to me, under this gun control thing he's trying to do, that should be the biggest issue, is the mental health thing.
Well, and the other thing is with the security with schools, everybody's talking about, lock down the schools, single entries and armed guards, armed teachers. Now, teachers, if they want to have a concealed weapon, fine. Take a few extra classes and whatever one wants to do it, fine. But as far as armed guards go, I don't want the ones that protect the freaking airport there, whatever the hell they're called. Yeah, I don't want the TSA in schools because they're all morons.
That's not what people were saying. No,
Yeah,
that's not armed security. That's pat me down security. Difference.
Yeah, and I don't want to turn schools into prisons. Like I was saying was, the police substations in every public school. You only need 2 small rooms. You only need some desks. It's basically free because they already have their laptops and their computers. They take their breaks at the schools. They have to report to the schools in the morning to go on duty. Put the 2 rooms on either side of the school, so they have to walk the halls. And the most important thing, they should be local police from that neighborhood. If your kids go to that school, that's the school you report to for work. You park your squad car out in the back parking lot. You go in there, you walk the halls, you know all the kids know you. You're no longer a stranger that's there to intimidate them like most of the cops that are placed in schools now. They're only there for security.
Yeah, you want somebody who's able to build a rapport with them.
And if you have a cop that's no longer a stranger, he's Officer Bob from down the road, that's Bobby's dad. That cop's going to get to know everybody there. He's going to get to know all the parents. The kids are going to get to know them, and that is your first line of defense. They can see it coming. They'll know who the troublemakers are. They'll know who's not. They'll know who just gets loud and rowdy.
Yeah,
and they'll know who belongs and who does not.
Yeah,
exactly.
Besides that part of it, the cop will also know, like who's dealing drugs in the school and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and there are also tons of cops that don't need to be tied to a precinct. We have detectives. Their whole jobs are mainly spent on the phone and on a computer. Why can't they be inside of a school? We can have 20 cops in every school all the time, walking the hallways, because they're simply doing their job. It's passive security that is now no longer a soft target. Now no schools can be a soft target because there's going to be cops coming and going all day long.
You're right. You're right. And those people will rarely go in there if they know they got opposition. Gun-free zones are a joke.
And that's what I've been saying about gun-free zones. There's no point in having a zone be gun-free if you're not willing to enforce it with security or law enforcement or something. Now, it's like having a demilitarized zone, but not stationing any troops at the border. It's stupid.
Yeah. I got a concealed carry, right? And I followed the law. But, like going to the post office. I realized I was breaking the law. So I've had to change my routine. The law says you can't carry in a post office, but no, it says you can't carry on postal property. Well, the parking lot is postal property. So theoretically, what I've been doing is pulling into the parking lot, putting my gun in my little gun safe that I have under my seat, and going into the post office. Well, just having it on that property, I'm breaking the law.
In some states, that's not necessarily true. It might be true in your state. In my state, if it's in my car and it's either it's in the glove box or it's in a locked case or center console or even in a safe, it's cool because castle doctrine in my state extends to my car. So the car is my property, whether it's parked on postal property or not. The issue is I'm only there for 5 minutes.
Oh, RL says, hell, I don't trust cops, and I teach my kids the same. Cops are not your friend. Sorry, those days are long gone.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that they I'm not saying that they were friends. I'm just saying that if we're going to have these zones be so-called gun-free, it's time to start enforcing it. And when I mean enforcing, I don't mean having no security there whatsoever. I mean having at least 1 or 2 security details per school.
Yeah, but then again, it might be time to try to get back to the day. I mean, it's changed even in England. I remember as a kid, as you all know, I grew up in England, where we had the local Bobby walking the beat.
Yeah.
And if sometimes, like I remember happened to me once, I think I was 11 and I was smoking a cigarette and he caught us, gave me the slap on the back of the head and told me to, if I ever catch you again, your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, we need to get back to.
It didn't stop me. I kept on smoking, but it's the principle of the thing. You know what I mean?
We need to get back to community policing. I mean, that was the thing. The reason why cops have such a bad reputation, because they go in hot when they don't need to, and they're always on guard. They're always up because they don't know who the hell they're dealing with.
That's right.
We need go back to community policing to where the same cops are on the same beat, a small one, 4 or 5 blocks, maybe a mile, and the people see them every day. They know who the bad guys are. They know who the good guys are. The community knows who they are. And then the cops do become friends because now they don't approach everybody as a bad guy. They know, okay, this is Bob down here. He gets a little rowdy when he gets drunk, but he doesn't mean any harm, so let's walk him home. And, they're not beating the shit out of him and throw him in the back of a car.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm heading out, Rick. You take it easy.
You're leaving us?
Yeah, I gotta go take care of a few things.
Oh, hell, okay. See ya. Thanks for joining me.
See you later, Jonas.
No problem, Rick. Take it easy. See you later, Don.
The hour's almost up, and I ain't done my quiz. Let me hold the conversation up for a few minutes. My giveaway quiz for the Gun Channels patch, the Clover Tech crew sticker. He gave me these, so I'm promoting Clover Tech. Okay, you want me to promote you? Send me some of your swag, and I'll give it away and mention your name and shit. So, and the infamous Spotted Rick sticker. All that for one simple question. I haven't told the panel the answer. But so let me put it in it's real. This one is real simple. Where's my chat room? Here it is.
Hey, Rick. Sean says he got his stickers today. Thanks. They look great.
Okay. I'm glad you got them. Okay, I put it in the side chat. That's the answer.
All right. Let's have the question.
The question is so simple. I expect to have it answered before I even finish reading the question. All right, you ready? Let me see if I can find it. Okay, the famous U.S. lawman White Earp. What pistol did he use? Come on. White Earp. What pistol did he use? You can look it up on Wikipedia. Come on, people. That's an easy one.
Sean asks, the real one or the fantasy one?
The real one. No, I need.
No, not the Cold Peacemaker. No, not. I don't know if it's a single action revolver.
Yeah, it is single action, I believe, but no, the actual make and model, basically. There you go. I'm practically giving you this answer. No, that's the make-believe one, correct?
No, not the Dragoon.
No. I didn't think that question was that hard. Maybe it is. The real one. Make and model.
No, not the Chiappa Rhino. Not the Sig.
All right, I'll give you one last clue. And if you don't, nobody gets it. Nobody gets a prize this week. Okay, it's the same. It's the same make as my gun that I carry. I've talked about my gun a lot of times.
Sean says it's on his to-do list.
Oh, man. All right.
Come on, Fee. Cheer up.
Okay. Should we call the contest quits and they have to wait the next week now? And I'll give you the answer.
You can.
Okay, Philo, you're there. You're halfway there. Just need the model. Make a guess.
Oh, Sean got it.
Sean got it again.
Oh, snap. Sorry, Fee.
You almost had it, Fee.
Congratulations, Sean.
Yeah, I got your address, Sean.
Yeah, he wins every week. You better have his address.
But I practically gave it to you guys. So, there you go.
Sean says, I gave them all day.
Model 3.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's the end. Okay, now back to our discussion. So, where were we? Before Night Strike left us, and I had to do my quiz.
Community policing, I believe.
Community policing, yes. Yes. I hope it would be nice to go back to that, and you got a good point there. You really have.
Yeah, well, the problem is local municipalities won't do it because it's not good for money. When you locally police, you raise less money because you're not arresting as many people and you're not writing as many tickets.
This is true.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, even our little town here, I know some of the policemen. From when I used to work in the old meat shop, they used to come in there, so you talk to them. But most of them, they cut them. But when they're out and about, they had that arrogant pose about them.
Well, that's also police hiring practices now. If you look at the questionnaires and the tests that are given before you go into the academy, it is ridiculous. It's all about covering someone else's ass. It's not about protecting or serving anybody.
Sean says, hang on to them, Rick. I got the price pack from last week.
Oh, keep the stock for next week. So use them to give away next week to somebody else. Yeah. So I think maybe we should. I think Sean should be banned from entering my contest.
Sean, you're only allowed 15 straight weeks and then no more.
Yeah.
I won it, I think, 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you did.
Wise guy, eh?
Yeah. So there we go. Anyway, guys. So in some ways, the conversation was good today because I didn't get halfway through my list, so I can add that on the next week. So, as I said at the beginning, my topic was I am lost. I don't know what the hell is going on in our world today, and it's kind of scary to me. I wake up every morning wondering, oh, God, what's happening now? I mean, what scares me more than anything is not the federal, is this gun control they're trying to do here in Rhode Island. They want to ban semi-automatics. I don't think they'll get away with that. They might get away with, unfortunately, banning the AR-15. But they want to do what I think is going to pass, which I don't want to, is they want a gun registration. And we got to pay $25 fee for every gun we own. That's the one that scares me. And I got a feeling that's the one that's going to pass here in this state. It's scary times, guys. If you're one of those gun-free, in real America, God bless you. But make sure it doesn't change.
Another thing we got to remember is perspective. I mean, I wish the media would push the actual numbers, because there's 3 times more guns than there was in the 70s, and we have half as much crime, half as many deaths. It is the safest time ever in the world, the entire world, to ever live.
It is.
And nobody's pushing that. Everybody's pushing its violence is going up, and no, it's going down. It's actually going down.
Yeah, I mean, there's more, as you said, there's more guns in the country today. There's what they're figuring on around 17 million concealed carriers now. I mean, there's not blood on the streets. We're not shooting each other every time we walk out the door. It's not the Wild West out there. You know, as you said, today it's a lot better than it. I mean, there's pockets. Yeah. I mean, no, we're not talking gangs like in Chicago where there's shootings every night. You know, that's a different thing altogether. But I blame that on the city politics. Well, that's happening.
Well, even in Chicago, if you're not a gang member and you don't live next door to a gang member, your chances of getting shot are pretty damn low.
Oh yeah, you're right. So let's see. What, we got anything else here? No, we're good. All right, guys, I'm going to call it quits, to be honest with you, because my hour is up. I'm still frustrated. I'm still scared what's happening.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, John. Thank you, Rick.
Thanks for joining, Russ. Do you want to make any plugs or anything for your show or your channel or anything?
Check me out on Instagram. I don't do a whole lot on YouTube, but you can check that out too.
Okay. All right. No, Dak, you didn't say much. Did you fall asleep on us? Must have. John, anything to say?
No, just thanks for the invite. Glad to be here. Thanks for everybody for joining us.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, John. You keep me on the straight and narrow. You try to anyway.
I tried to. That's all.
Yeah. And thank you, everybody, from Raphael, Night Strike, Moon, Pink, Zippy, Home Runner, RL, 9 Milli Mia, and everybody else who's out there. I appreciate it. Good crowd today. Good crowd. I'm glad you guys are hanging in there with me. I really do appreciate it.
You got it.
Sean, got to remember Sean. He was the winner. So later, guys. Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, see you next week. Same time, same place, same channel. All right. Later.